Manchester Meadows in Rock Hill, South Carolina. South Atlantic Conference semifinal number 1 here on the women's side between the number 1 Carson-Newman Eagles and the number 4 Tusculum Pioneers. Jeff Jazeski, Craig Turnbull here on the SAC Digital Network as we get set for these two teams to get underway. On one side, a very talented Carson-Newman team at 15-0-1 on the season. On the other side, the number 4 seed, the Tusculum Pioneers, 10-6-1, 7-3 in conference play. You see the bracket there on your screen. Winner of this one will go on to advance to the championship match on Sunday against the winner of the 6 versus 2 matchup, Anderson and Wingate. That one coming up next following the conclusion of this one. Carson-Newman defeating Newberry, Tusculum defeating Lenoir-Rhyne in the quarterfinals to get set for this semi-final matchup. And it should be a good one. Two very talented teams. You have the player of the year in this game on the Carson-Newman side in Lauren Wade, but some serious talent on the Tusculum side as well.
Yeah, I imagine these two teams are just going to get after it. You know, the seedings are important, 1 versus 4 and all that, but I think here, two schools separated, not by too many miles, kind of a local derby, but at a neutral site. I just see both these teams getting up and down the field, going right after it, trying to get that first goal as quickly as they can and set their stamp into the match.
Tusculum will get things underway as they will look to knock off the Carson-Newman Eagles here this afternoon in Rock Hill. Carson-Newman, a team that has scored 53 goals in 16 games this season, good for 3.31 goals per game. Easily the leader in the South Atlantic Conference. Tusculum scoring 29 goals in 17 games. And we're off here between the Eagles and the Pioneers. Tusculum in your orange uniforms, Carson-Newman in their grays with orange numbers. There'll be a goal kick for Hannah Graham of the Pioneers here in the first minute of this matchup between the Eagles and the Pioneers. Ball popped up into the midfield, kicked towards Peyton DeHart, and a foul is called on Carson-Newman. That'll go against Catarina Realista. It'll be a free kick for the Pioneers.
I think an early key for the game, Tusculum, is the matchup of Kenzie Ellenberg, the right back, up against Lauren Wade, number 11 for Carson-Newman. Wade being a very dangerous player.
And here comes the Carson-Newman attack here early on. Masengo leaves it back for Talbot Smith. She wants the through ball to Lauren Wade, and there is Kenzie Ellenberg. But it's off the chest of Masengo, still alive, before it ends up with the Pioneers. And already showing off that trio of forwards for the Eagles that have so much ability.
Over 3 goals a game average is not a bad showing on the season, that's for sure.
The trio of Talbot Smith, Wade, and Masengo combining for 26 goals and 26 assists on the season. Just great production from their top 3. You key on one, the other one's going to find a way to score. Here's Talbot Smith. Looking back towards the midfield, and DeHart's able to fight off and send it downfield for Tusculum. But it's right back to Alex Brandon, and Avery Williams will send it over to her keeper, Jacqueline Burns. Ellenberg again, this time with Talbot Smith on her side. Now it's some open space for Tusculum. The cross comes in, and it's sent back out off the head of DeHart. Tries to settle it down, and DeHart will turn it backwards. And that ball's not going to find the end of a run. It'll be a goal kick for Burns.
like the early start here for Tusculum, putting the ball back in over the top of Carson-Newman, making the defenders turn their back or turn towards their goal, facing their goal, and seeing what they're going to do with it.
There you see Jacqueline Burns, the sophomore from Cookstown, Northern Ireland. Not called upon very often because of how strong this defense is, but when she is, she's very strong in net. 15-0-1 obviously this year as the goalie, 10 shutouts and 848 save percentage. Seed looks up for Lauren Wade. Now trying to find Wade again, and it's taken back by Tusculum. And sent out of play, a throw-in for Lauren Wade and the Eagles.
Another thing I'm noticing early on, Tusculum defensively is basically playing a true man-to-man. They're not passing players along. In this day of soccer, you usually don't see that much. So
Masengo, her first shot is wide. And I was just about to say, Craig, as you said that, you talked about Ellenberg as the right back, and there she was flipping the field and just following Lauren Wade right over there.
They definitely matched up, truly man-to-man, player-to-player, and that can be a huge advantage for Carson-Newman because you just take 3 players, run them on one side of the field, and let a midfielder come through the opposite side.
Graham's goal kick doesn't go very far, and it ends up with Lauren Wade. Now into the midfield for Hallgrim's daughter. Chipped up towards the corner. Tracking is Realista. And it's last touched by Realista, and a Tusculum throw-in. Be Ellenberg looking to throw in for Tusculum, and it's back to Carson-Newman. And it will stay with the Eagles. Throw in from Huffstetler. And Helen Seed will send it up. Talbot Smith trying to find it at the top of the box. But it's knocked away by the Pioneers, but still Carson-Newman relentless with their pressure. Brandon sends a ball in. Talbot Smith on the receiving end of it, and a corner is the result here for Carson-Newman. A tricky ball played in there by Alex Brandon, and Talbot Smith able to force the defender to deflect it across for a corner. It'll be Wade to send in the corner. With the left foot right into the center of the box. Popped up, still at the post, and knocked away by Graham. But Graham is down inside the 6-yard box. And it looks like she's holding her head. Maybe a collision there, whether it be with a player or the post.
I didn't have a real good look at that. There were so many people in the area.
There's bodies all around inside the box. It was hard to tell what exactly happened to Hannah Graham there. I believe it was Mazengo that got the last touch to it for Carson-Newman after the initial. Here comes Mazengo.
Good save.
And then just, you saw the back of her head just hitting the ground there, just came down awkwardly. It didn't look like anybody else made contact with her, maybe a little bit of Mozengo. But just cracking the back of the head off the turf here in Manchester Meadows.
And quite obviously, if she doesn't get her hands on the header by Mozengo, that's in the net as well. Brave save there.
Mozengo gets the touch, turns to the inside. Magna Mozengo tries to find Wade. But that ball is unable to find the senior from Northern Ireland. And Graham will scoop it up. That alternating trio of forwards, Holly Talbot-Smith, Lauren Wade, Magda Mazengo. It's going to be all game long, pick your poison. Wade plays it outside for Alex Brandon. Brandon looking for the cross off of Cheyenne Upton. It'll be a throw-in. Now it's to Wade, the conference player of the year 2 years straight. And Wade uncharacteristically loses that touch across the goal line. I know it's early, but I think we'll take a look at the numbers for the career of Lauren Wade. This year, 12 goals, 9 assists. A year ago, 20 goals and 11 assists in an even more devastating offensive firepower attack that they had, as that one's kicked wide by Brandon. But Lauren Wade, just what she's done in her 2 years with this Carson-Newman team has been nothing short of special.
Yeah, it's hard to keep talent down. You know, they always say the cream rises to the top, and then Lauren Wade is a great example of that.
5th in career goals in Carson-Newman history, again in just 2 years. 3rd in points with 84, and 1st all-time in assists per game at 0.61. And 2.55 career points per game as well. Just really outstanding numbers for the senior from Coleraine, Northern Ireland, and formerly of Ulster University before finding her way to Carson-Newman, as well as another Northern Ireland product in Jacqueline Burns. Headed in the midfield, sent forward by Thornburg, and now Thornburg gets it back, and she's fouled by Mazengo and Realista. Thornburg, a second-team All-SAC selection here in 2017, started every game in the back four for Tusculum. Added a goal and 2 assists as well. As the free ball sent up towards Thornburg, and she'll try to chip it back into the box. Upton going up for the header. And no whistle, as I think everybody on the pitch thought that there was a whistle. But it's Masengo now for Wade. Lauren Wade wants a through ball, finds Talbot Smith. Now Masengo. All 3 forwards here, and Masengo maybe got a little too cute with it.
Good quick counter, though. I mean, they did a nice job, the front 3, looking for one another, running off one another once the ball's played. That's why they've scored so many goals and had so many assists.
And the unselfishness.
Yeah.
They don't care which one finishes it off as long as they put that ball in the back of the net. Tusculum throw in.
That's soccer karma there. If you give up one for someone else, you're eventually going to get it back from them also. So great trio.
Upton and DeHart trying to find Thornburg quickly on the first touch. Couldn't do it. Wade will boot it forward and give Talbot Smith a chance at it. And Talbot Smith will force the header from Sarah Combs to go out across the touchline. It'll be a throw-in for Alex Brandon. Brandon, one of the many all-conference selections on this Carson-Newman team, a second-teamer in 2017. And a foul is called there on Carson-Newman. I believe it was on Jaden Zapp, number 26, as Peyton DeHart drew it.
I said early in the match, I liked Tusculum, the fact they were looking to put balls in behind. I think now they need to change it up a little bit. They tried to play a couple long balls. Carson-Newman knows it's coming. Now you've got to possess it, ping it around, create some gaps.
Talbot Smith trying to create some space for herself, looked up for Wade, and Ellenberg was there. Now a 2-on-1 for Carson-Newman. Lauren Wade into space. Wade now into the box. Lauren Wade puts Carson-Newman on top. And no surprises there, as it's the senior player of the year, Lauren Wade, with her 13th goal of the season. And she's able to give Carson-Newman an early lead here over the Pioneers.
Just a nice solid touch. You see Lauren gets the goalkeeper to drift a little bit towards the near post. Just as she drifts to the near post, slot it far post. that goal actually started way up the field, maybe 40, 45 yards out with an unfortunately freshman Tusculum defender, number 2, with a giveaway and just a quick transition ball, and Lauren Wade's going to go to the bank all day long on that one.
2-time Conference Player of the Year, 2016 Region Player of the Year, first team All-American. Pick your accolade, whichever one you want. Lauren Wade getting this game off to a great start for the Eagles. And here in 2017, Carson-Newman has scored 4 goals against Tusculum. All 4 of them have been scored by Lauren Wade. You go back to that first match, no score through 77 minutes. Tusculum giving Carson-Newman all they can handle. And then Lauren Wade scores. And then Lauren Wade scores again. And then makes it a third one. 3 goals, a hat trick in 3 minutes and 30 seconds for Lauren Wade in that first matchup. Now Masengo trying to give her team a 2-goal lead. She plays it back. Talbot Smith couldn't put it in the right direction.
Yeah, I thought Masengo would bury that one as well. I was surprised.
But I mean, again, you just think about that. A hat trick in less than 4 minutes of gameplay. Almost, it's something you could do in a video game that you never expect to do in real life.
That's true. Especially me. There's no doubt about that. And I can't even do it in a video game.
Don't sell yourself short.
Oh, I'll sell myself way short. I'm the guy you put on at the end of the game to kill clock.
Tusculum will see if they have an answer here as they fall behind early on.
You know, one way to phrase that, from a coaching standpoint, from a Tusculum standpoint, be positive with it. Hey, we've got a long way to go to get that goal back. You know, it wasn't 2 minutes to go in the match. We've got a long way to play. So no need to be at panic stations at this point.
And from that coaching standpoint, when the goal does come, you know, so early in the match, first 15 minutes, do you sit there and say, okay, we're not going to change anything? It's still too early to be worrying about that?
Yeah, I would in that scenario because it wasn't necessarily a tactical mistake. It was just simply a player mistake. And those happen from time to time. So, again, no need to panic. Keep sticking with the game plan. Once you get to halftime and if things are still going the way that they're going, then obviously you do need to try to change something. Whether it's offensively or defensively, maybe both.
Ellenberg looking upfield for Cheyenne Upton. Now Upton able to keep the ball on her feet. DeHart wanted to send it out wide and trying to team up there with Sonia Balmer, but was unable to do so. And that one misplayed over the head of Helen Seed. And Tusculum still battling here, still trying to create. Upton gets a foot on it. And the Carson-Newman defense able to stand tall momentarily.
Very soft whistle. I didn't actually hear that one blow either.
A free kick for Yvette Rajan. And Rajan will send that one in. Header going back past Burns, and Tusculum ties it up. Sonia Balmer able to sneak that one past the sophomore keeper. And what a ball it was from Rajan.
I was going to say just before that kick, but I didn't want to talk over top of the play. Tusculum has always been known as a great team with restarts, with free kicks. Very polished, very exact with what they try to do, and perfect example of it right there. A very well played ball put in, and a simple little skip header.
Let's go, Eagles, come on.
Good response after the goal.
Come on, Eagles, let's win.
It's Balmer's 5th goal of the campaign, an honorable mention selection in the SAC in 2017. Scored earlier this year against LMU, Lenore Ryan, Coker, and Mars Hill. And that's her 7th career goal as well, and a big one to tie things up here at 1. Once you go down 1-0 to a team like Carson-Newman, you got to get that one back quickly and make sure you don't let things snowball and let them get into the rhythm where they can put multiple balls on target and find ways to score like we know they can. And we'll take another look.
You get a great look here at the quality of this service is just absolutely spot on. Couldn't have walked up there and put it any better. And a good simple flick on header.
Right in between Avery Williams and Laura Hallgrim's daughter. And Balmer was able to read that ball perfectly and play it perfectly. Takeaway for Carson-Newman. Slipped into the middle. Now it's Mazengo. Realista. And a good spin by Huffstetler. But Huffstetler couldn't keep it inside the sideline. So 2 quick goals here in the early going. First, it was Lauren Wade in the 12th minute. Then Balmer answered to tie things up. The equalizer in the 16th minute for Tusculum. Mazengo. Step over, tries to send it towards the top of the box. Looked like she was trying to play it through for Lauren Wade. Now Realista finds Wade. Turn back inside, and it's a giveaway from the senior. Outside for Upton, foot race. And it's won by Avery Williams, a throw in for Tusculum.
Avery Williams doing a really nice job there of putting in a pretty good amount of distance covered there to get it across to cover her defender and just simply put the ball out of play.
Headed away out of the box by Carson-Newman. Realista boots it towards midfield. Talbot Smith gives chase and just pushes it a few yards further down across the sideline, and a throw in for the Pioneers.
Looks like both coaches fairly happy with the way things are. No players up, really warming up. Obviously, a lot of players standing up, but no one actually appearing to be getting ready to be put in the contest.
Tusculum with a much, much deeper bench than Carson-Newman. At least 10 to 15 players on their sideline. Carson-Newman's bench, more like 7 or 8. But a team as talented as the Eagles hasn't needed as deep a bench here in 2017 at 15-0-1 on the year. Under Coach Simon Duffy in his first year as the Carson-Newman head coach. Spent 6 years at King before taking over with the Eagles. And what a team he inherited in year 1.
It's not a bad first year to take over a team, that's for sure.
Talbot Smith finds its way back to Zapf, and Helen Seed will send it long towards the edge of the box. Settled by Realista. Sent forward to Mozengo. She's got Wade and Talbot Smith, but it's a giveaway as Ellenberg will boot it back towards midfield. Duffy taking over for Richard Moody, the former head coach of Carson-Newman, taking the South Alabama job after a great year in 2016. A conference championship as well as an appearance in the NCAA tournament for Carson-Newman a year ago. And that team, with this amount of talent, the same players up top in Wade and Talbot Smith, plus you add Julianne Harity, currently a graduate assistant on this Carson-Newman staff. And that team just as devastating offensively, if not even more.
Yeah, I think possibly a little bit more.
But Duffy, give all credit to him, taking over this team, getting the players to buy in, and in his first year, SAC Coach of the Year.
Absolute kudos.
Can't ask for a much better start than that. On the other side for Tusculum, you have Mike Joy in his 21st season, the winningest coach in school history as well as conference history with 261 career wins. Certainly has his team ready to play in this one, tied with Carson-Newman at 1. Good combination, looking for Lauren Wade, trying to sneak it in to the back post. And that one just skids through wide.
I do like the fact that Tusculum, after giving up the goal, settled in, kind of took a breath and said, hey, I need to take a look at the replay. Lauren Wade's shot.
Just a couple of feet wide, good idea. Might have been covered either way by Hannah Graham. Through ball up for DeHart. And she can't track it down. Burns will have a goal kick. Carson-Newman obviously undefeated with the 1 seed, a plus 26 goal differential in SAC play. Tusculum, the 4 seed with 21 points. Could have gotten the 3 seed with a win over Wingate in the final game of the season, but Wingate took that one 3-1, and it gave Tusculum to finish the year with the 4 seed and a plus 8 goal differential in conference play. Burns will come out of the 6-yard box and grab it. Last time this Carson-Newman team played in a conference semifinal a year ago, we saw an offensive onslaught, a 5-0 victory over Anderson to propel them towards the championship match and ultimately another conference championship in the tournament, as they've won the last 2, looking for a 3rd straight here in 2017. Mozengo plays it in for Talbot Smith, and Graham reads it perfectly.
Graham definitely need to read that perfectly, quickly off her line, and what looked to be extremely dangerous, she handled very well because of good reactions, good reading of the play.
Seed gets knocked down to the turf, still down as the ball continues to be in play for Carson-Newman, and now we will get the whistle and the stoppage. And Seed, the 5'11 senior from Preston, England, does not look comfortable. Went up for the header, and it looked like she might have landed awkwardly on the ankle. She went up, and you see just getting caught under Peyton DeHart right in the middle of your screen there. That right leg just stuck right there. Got caught up with the senior DeHart.
My general experiences, which are limited, when you roll that ankle inward, it's usually a little bit worse than when you roll it outwards. A very non-scientific study of mine, but that's just through experience or whatever. I certainly hope she'll be okay and maybe be able to go back in the second half. Fortunately, a lot of time until then. But an important player back there for Carson-Newman.
Seed, a two-time first-teamer in the SAC, a second-teamer in 16, an honorable mention in 15, or in 14 rather, and a first-teamer in 15 and 17. So all 4 years of her career, she's gotten some sort of recognition from the South Atlantic Conference. It just shows how invaluable she's been in the back line of the Carson-Newman defense here throughout her career. 75 games played, 4th all-time in Carson-Newman history, and minutes played coming into today with 6,244.
And the good news is, as she continued to walk off, definitely was walking better than when she started, so that's a very positive sign.
And Tusculum will give it right to the goalie, Jacqueline Burns. And Burns will be able to get this thing back going after the injury to Helen Seed. Mazengo, chipped ball up for Lauren Wade on the volley, snared by Hannah Graham.
I think I've noticed a little bit Tusculum defender raging there. As the ball goes into Mazengo, she's allowing Mazengo to turn and face her. And as a defender, you really don't want that. You want the attacking player to be facing their own goal as much as you can. If she's got the ability to either run at you or get her head up and find the next pass, it makes it challenging.
Tusculum on the attack, DeHart. Her touch goes all the way back towards midfield. And now that sends Carson-Newman on the counter. Talbot Smith keeps the ball at her feet, has Mazengo up ahead of her. She looks for her. Mazengo, edge of the box now. She'll slow it down. Mazengo looking for Lauren Wade, popped up in the air. And a corner kick for the Eagles.
Another example of what I was just speaking of. Mazengo got to the corner of the box, the edge of the box, and was able to turn without any real true pressure. Once she turned, then the pressure came. I'd certainly like to see a little bit tighter defending on Mazengo's back.
Emily Futrell comes on for Carson-Newman. Freshman from Wilson, North Carolina, making her 16th appearance of the year. Here's the cross from Wade. Ball loose in the box, off the hands of Graham and cleared by Ellenberg. And a throw in for Carson-Newman, a quick one. Chipped forward and sent long by Jaden Zapp. And another great chance there for Carson-Newman. We'll take another look.
Nice ball put in, just goes through a lot of bodies. Mazengo unable to, unfortunately, just stick a foot out and redirect. And ball passed through about, what, 12 people probably there as it was flying in.
And on both Carson-Newman crosses that were dangerous, we've seen the ball bounce off of a Tusculum defender back towards Hannah Graham in the goal. And luckily for Graham and for Tusculum, both times she's been able to cover it and get rid of it in time. And Mazengo called for the foul. Clive Edwards, the official. And the crowd getting antsy here in Manchester Meadows. Again, you mentioned these two teams in Tennessee, a little bit of a rivalry here between the Pioneers and the Eagles. And it's sent in by Thornburg, and Jacqueline Burns runs under it. And a giveaway by Carson-Newman in the attacking third for the Pioneers.
And I think that's something that Tusculum can learn from. Hey, if we pressure a little bit, they're not as dangerous, at least in the back. Up front, different story, but they're going to maybe cough up some balls and we can counter from it.
Ellenberg, a miss hit. That's what started the first Carson-Newman goal. Talbot Smith couldn't get it all the way forward. Mazengo, the header. Futrell giving chase. And Hannah Graham will come up and grab it right at the edge of the 18. Tusculum's goal in the 15th minute. The first goal Carson-Newman's allowed in 7 games. Went 6 straight without allowing a goal, a 19-0 aggregate for this Eagles team. Talbot Smith, the giveaway, failed clearance, shot saved by Graham.
Tusculum got away with that one a little bit. Maybe not buried in the back of the net, but probably a better goal-scoring opportunity than what presented itself just then.
Headed back for Williams. Kicked forward, and now Zapf in the circle, can't get there. Thornburg pushes it forward. Back and forth here in the middle third. Mazango pushes it out wide. Some contact, no whistle. Cleared back towards midfield. And Mazango gets the foot on it. And it rolls back to Adelstein's daughter. And now a throw in for Huffstetler. Balmer, the first goal scorer for Tusculum, loses it, and here comes Brandon with speed. Lots of open space for Alex Brandon. Plays the through ball. Lauren Wade. It'll be a goal kick, Tusculum. Carly Mill comes on for Tusculum. Free kick for Carson-Newman. The Avery Williams here on the free kick, under 15 to play, 1-1 ball game first half. Williams off the head of Wade into the box. And Futrell on the run, but Hannah Graham is there. Headed forward by Realista. And off the shin guards of Realista, but now it's Ellenberg back the other way. Ellenberg with some open space, turns it back towards midfield. And chipped out towards Upton. And off the head of Alex Brandon. Now Avery Williams defending. And Carson-Newman will clear back to Thornburg. Thornburg out to the wing. Cross coming in, top of the box. Carly Mill towards Sonia Balmer. Still in a dangerous area. Now Carson-Newman able to get a clearance. Brandon slows it down and will look to send one towards Talbot Smith, offside.
That was a good look. I mean, a kind of a slow speed counterattack. Good change of the field, or at least from the left side towards the middle of the field. Just unfortunately a step, maybe a step and a half offside.
In the midfield for Balmer. Now out towards Upton, and Alex Brandon will turn back towards goal. And good work by Cheyenne Upton. And the clearances have not come easy for Carson-Newman. Tusculum pressing up heavily. There's 2 more subs will come in for the Pioneers, again using that deep bench. Carly Culler comes in. Sonia Balmert will come off. And Katja Anderson comes on as well for the Pioneers. Futrell heads it up. Now Lauren Wade trying to clip it back forward into the box. Wade started the scoring in this match before Balmert's response just 4 minutes later. And that's where we're at here, a 1-1 ball game between the first-seeded Carson-Newman Eagles and the fourth-seeded Tusculum Pioneers. Futrell using the sideline to her advantage. Some contact, but no foul called. Now it's booted by Adelstein's daughter. And it'll go for a throw-in deep down in the corner. So not a bad idea, not a bad place for that ball to end. And Ellenberg will be forced to throw in a difficult position.
Yeah, Carson-Newman without hesitation steps up and really tries to apply some pressure here. Pressing to get another goal here before half.
Comes down to Mazengo. Now Tusculum will try to clear it. And they'll get another throw in. It'll be Culler. Foul called on Avery Williams of Carson-Newman.
And again here, I wouldn't be surprised if Tusculum takes their time and really gets a set piece that they want.
It'll be Rajan again. Rajan assisted on the Sonia Balmert goal to tie things up here at 1. That one skims over the top of Tusculum, of the Tusculum offense there, just outside the 18-yard box. Now it's Mazengo in the middle. Looks up for Futrell. Talbot Smith. Talbot Smith will take a crack at it. And Hannah Graham in the right spot. Not enough on that one to give her much trouble.
Yeah, I think Hannah Graham would take those types of shots all day long. If they're going to give up shots, those would be the ones that she wants.
Under 10 to play here, first half between the Eagles and the Pioneers. Carson-Newman 3-0 victors in the regular season with 3 Lauren Wade goals in 3.5 minutes to win that one back in October. The Eagles, the defending conference champions, both in the regular season now here in 2017 and the tournament champions the past 2 years, defeating Wingate in both 2015 and 2016. Tusculum hoping for a first SAC championship since they lost in 2013 to Wingate. And the cartwheel throw from Culler to the edge of the box. And Lauren Wade will just boot it back towards midfield, where Ellenberg will have a throw. Ellenberg, the freshman, playing her 16th game, making her 13th start. 3 shots on the year, 1 red card handed out to her in 2017, her rookie campaign. Culler, low cross, edge of the box, first deflected away. Now second opportunity here for Tusculum, and it'll go way wide, and Jacqueline Burns will have a goal kick.
Kind of rushed that shot a little bit, and might have been an opportunity, maybe take an extra touch, get your head up, find the next runner who might be running onto the ball.
Talbot Smith will check out of the game for Carson-Newman. And it's Sydney Spadafora in for the Eagles with 7:05 remaining. Looking long for Lauren Wade. Too long. Spadafora just in, a sophomore. Came off the bench in the quarterfinal and gave 20 minutes while dishing out an assist and taking a shot on goal as well.
That last camera shot we had, you really see Hannah Graham struggling with the sun, especially looking obviously towards the camera, the angle that it's on right now.
Ellenberg's throw. Nearly given away on the sideline, and now it will be an Eagles throw-in. Brandon, the throw-in for Spadafora. Headed towards Wade. Wade turns to the outside. Lauren Wade misses wide. And tracked down in the corner, though, and kept alive for Carson-Newman. Through ball to the edge of the box. It'll be an Eagles throw.
It was actually a very good recovery run by Rachel Roberts, 25 there for Tusculum, just to double down, make sure that no danger at the top of the box. There's a lot of times those unseen things maybe throughout a match make a big difference.
Spadafora will get a throw just in front of the corner stick. And we'll look for Mozengo. Turning inside, Lauren Wade. Leaves it off. And a clearance from Tusculum. Chipped forward again, Spadafora on the move. And Spadafora misfires, and a goal kick for Hannah Graham with 5+ to play. Hmm. 40 minutes gone by now, 5 remaining in the first half of a tie game. And after the early goal from Lauren Wade, Tusculum has really handled Carson-Newman relatively well.
It's been very much more of a midfield battle really than anything. Certainly Carson-Newman's had a couple more chances obviously going forward into the box, but no real danger actually getting into the box at this point.
You know, no matter what, this team can turn it on offensively at any time. Again, the numbers over 3.3 goals per game on the season for the Eagles. They might not always come early, but they certainly can come often. Mozengo will earn a corner for the Eagles.
And sometimes teams like that who know they can score a lot of goals, it's just a quick, a glance of a couple people catching eye contact like, let's go. This is the time, let's go for it. And as we've seen in other games, multiple goals in very short minutes.
Lauren Wade, near post, off the back, kept alive, and a header coverage by the Tusculum defense. It was Culler. And a clearance out towards midfield. Now a 3-on-2. And a giveaway by Jaden Zapp for the Eagles, but Alex Brandon wins it right back. Culler challenging. Brandon keeps her feet and the ball. See Spadafora. Spadafora trying to turn it back inside. Unable to get it through. Carly Thornburg, the all-conference second teamer, with the defensive effort. It'll be a throw-in for Mike Joyce Pioneers.
Come on, Gray!
Tusculum into the box with a chance and just lost it at the end of the run.
One more pass and that gets interesting if they were able to connect that last pass.
Wade looks up for Futrell, and Futrell will give it back to the senior. Wade in no hurry, sends the cross in, and just out of the reach of Katarina Realista. A great idea by Lauren Wade and a great ball as well.
Kind of get the sense that the Carson-Newman fans in attendance are almost a little anxious, a little jittery right now. Every ball forward, the intensity and their excitement continues to grow. They're thinking we shouldn't be tied right now.
And the Eagles team probably thinks that as well. 15-0-1 on the year. They don't think they should be tied with anyone. And Culler will get ready for yet another acrobatic throw-in. Ellenberg, a former striker in high school, is taken down, and the ball's back to Jacqueline Burns with a minute to play. Burns boots it deep. McMillan couldn't get her foot on it, and that's going to force a Carson-Newman throw-in with time ticking down in the danger zone, the attacking third here. And here comes Brandon. Into Mozengo. Right back to Brandon. The cross comes in and it's cleared. 20 seconds remaining. Zap. Trying to turn back inside, goes back to midfield. Adelstein's daughter finds Realista with 10 seconds left, and Realista will send us into halftime tied up at 1 goal apiece. Lauren Wade got it done first for Carson-Newman, but it was Sonia Balmert just a few minutes later to tie things up at 1 before both defenses locked down a little bit.
I think going into half, Carson-Newman just needs to be reminded to not get frustrated, keep with the game plan, trust that you'll eventually wear Tusculum down. On the counter, that Tusculum needs to understand, hey, we're in this game. Now we got to play a little quicker, tiny little bit more polish in the attacking third, and they're going to get more chances.
It's 1-1 here through 45 minutes of play on the SAC Digital Network. We'll step away. halftime between Carson-Newman and Tusculum. It's a 1-1 game, Craig. Carson-Newman start off the scoring. Tusculum a quick response off a free kick, a beautiful set piece, and a beautiful finish by Balmert. Tied this thing up at 1. What are your keys for the second half?
Yeah, in my mind, I'm sitting here trying to decide, does Tusculum choose to sit in a little bit and defend and just look to counter and score on another set piece? Or do they try to open the game up, which then also you run the risk of being opened up going the opposite way? So it'll be interesting to see what Coach Joy has talked to the ladies about. And you know Carson-Newman's going to come. So it's a matter of, does Tusculum try to run with him and match it, or be patient and try to slow the game down at every opportunity and try to sneak one? And I don't know the answer.
And certainly so much on the line here this afternoon. Not only a trip to the conference championship match on Sunday, but you have a Carson-Newman team who probably feels a little bit disrespected by the Southeast Region poll that came out earlier this week. So they have something to prove, trying to win another conference championship, their third in a row, get that automatic qualifier, and get in there where they rightfully belong. Currently undefeated on the season at 15-0-1, but third in the Southeast Region poll behind Columbus State and Flagler. So I don't know if that says anything other than the committee doesn't really buy into the South Atlantic Conference's strength this year, which I'm not sure I buy into that.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Strength of schedule numbers, I would imagine, are pretty close. I don't know if they are drawing enough separation that you could take an undefeated team and drop them to a third seed. You know, and again, all due respect to the other two teams ahead of them.
Columbus State will be set up for a championship tilt against UNC Pembroke in the Peach Belt. UNC Pembroke currently number 7 in the Southeast region. Columbus State the 1. Flagler at number 2 again. 2 other SAC teams. But here's the thing that doesn't make sense to me, Craig, is if that's what they're saying, they don't think that their resume is all that impressive in the SAC, then why are there 2 other South Atlantic Conference teams in the top 8 with Queens at 4 and Wingate at 8?
That's an extremely valid point, and I agree with you on that.
But either way, a lot of work to be done here in the last 45 minutes on the field. But in past years, Carson-Newman could say, you know, even if we don't win this game, we're still going to the tournament. But obviously the way the AQ working now, even at the 3 seed where they are really safe, if something else happens, there could be some change-ups, some surprise teams sneak in and start taking those spots away.
Yeah, it's best to hold your own fate and take care of business as you're supposed to, for sure. And every now and then you get a little help from some other teams, but just to control your own destiny is a lot more reassuring.
Brandon looking up to Lauren Wade, can't find her. And now back into the midfield for Masengo. Cruising through the middle third, past 2 defenders, now trying to get past the third. Masengo into the box. Masengo on the run, and Magna Masengo just wide after a fantastic run.
You did all the hard stuff for 50 yards, and the easier, well, maybe not the easier part, but you would think the simpler part, put a shot on frame, failed her. Again, Tusculum, an example of letting her turn at midfield. No real pressure.
And just dicing through the Pioneers defense past McMillan on her final run, and just tees up the shot a little wide. She did the same thing that Wade did, pulled Graham all the way to the near post, left that far side open, and was just unable to find the net. Masengo, the 5'9" junior from London, England, a St. Leo transfer a few years ago, scored 8 goals, dished out 8 assists on the year. Had an assist in the quarterfinal as well in the 72nd minute. Has been a stellar part of the Carson-Newman attack, but unable to put one home there early on in this second half.
Wide right has been a pattern today, has it not?
And even more so down here on the left side of the field than the right, but you're right, every time in these semifinal matchups that you think a player has a good look, when it's been a miss, it has been to the right. Cross in the box, and Burns, tough goalkeeping, goes up and pulls that one down amidst a few bodies. Masengo again able to turn back inside. Now she finds Realista, up to Talbot Smith. It's Mazengo. And Mazengo trying to leave that ball through for Lauren Wade and was unable to get through a pair of Tusculum defenders. Throw in for Carson-Newman, and now we'll have a stoppage. It looked like that was Cheyenne Upton getting her knee wrapped quickly and trying to sneak that back on, but now she'll have to wait for the go-ahead from the referee.
A lot of discussion going on over there for something that's pretty simple, actually.
And now I think he's forcing Tusculum to send a sub on. He's sending Kohler up towards the tent. And Kohler will indeed come into this game and force Cheyenne Upton to walk back over to the bench. Clive Edwards taking full control. The throw in is to Mazengo for Hallgrim's daughter. Now back to Mazengo. Wade chipped forward. And Mazengo has it taken away, but it will remain with Carson-Newman after the deflection. Cross sent to no one, and Ashley Graham, or Hannah Graham, sorry, will scoop that one up. DeHart giving chase for Tusculum in the midfield.
Both teams seem very tentative and tight right now at the beginning of this half.
Headed forward. Now settled back for Seed. Back into the game after being injured in the first half. Good ball forward. DeHart stops her run. Knew she wasn't going to get there in time. And now Carson-Newman will reset here in the back. Looking up. Thought Lauren Wade was looking for a ball ahead of her. She was not. And not much rhythm has been gained by either team now. We'll see if Carson-Newman can come on the counter. Hallgrim's daughter off the back of the head of a Tusculum player, and she's down just outside the box. And that did not look good.
I mean, in an unfortunate way, she got hit in the back of the head, I believe, rather than truly in the face. But nonetheless, the pain and possible head injury issue is present.
We'll get you a number here in a second. Athletic training staff out working on the injured player. It's Nicole McMillan, the 5'9" junior from Ontario. Started every game this season, making her 50th career start here Hallgrim's daughter just teeing it up, letting it rip, and just cracks McMillan right in the back of the head. And she's finally able to sit up here. We'll take one more look. Just caught her right above the ear, maybe near the temple. And anytime with any sort of head trauma or potential head injury, you want to take, all the time possible and make sure she's okay, as they'll now help her towards the sideline.
Just an awkward way to get caught with the ball, I think, really, and maybe neck muscles feel a little strained or something, or possible concussion, but she looks pretty solid and stable walking off the field, which is a great sign.
Emma McDonald, the junior from Whitby, Ontario, will come in to replace McMillan. McDonald, plenty of starting experience, has started 12 games here in 2017. And so there's McDonald, the replacement for McMillan. And we'll get back to action here momentarily. 6 minutes into the second half between Carson-Newman and Tusculum. And the restart will roll back to Jacqueline Burns. So now new defender out there for Tusculum. We'll see if that affects their back line any against this dangerous attack. Masengo lost it off the back heel. It'll be a Carson-Newman throw. Mike Joy looking on, the 21st year head man. As his team playing neck and neck with Carson-Newman right now. 15-0-1 on the year are the Eagles. And Tusculum trying to put a 1 in that loss column here and head to a conference championship match. The free kick by Rajan. Edge of the box, popped up off the head of Brandon. Now back to Sarah Combs. And Jordan Newby turns upfield. And Newby forces a corner.
I think that's what Tusculum's looking for. Give these opportunities to put decent balls into the box in front of goal and see what you can get.
Sarah Combs heads to the corner for the Pioneers. Combs, a 5'5" junior from Orlando. High cross, headed away. Now sent back in towards the edge of the 18. And Helen Seed comes through and clears for Carson-Newman. Wade flicked to the outside. And now the Eagles on the move. Realista giving chase. And Realista unable to outrun McDonald. And a Tusculum throw in. The lone result of the season for Carson-Newman. That was not a victory, a 2-2 tie back on September 20th against Lenore Rhine. And LR in that matchup was able to tie it up in the 87th minute after Carson-Newman took the lead just 21 seconds into the second half. And were able to hold off the Eagles' attack in the overtime periods and pick up that tie. Since then, perfect for the Eagles. 10-0 since that tie back on September 20th, hoping to make it 11-0 and hoping to go to a third straight conference championship match. Avery Williams looking to start the attack.
Very nice ball. Good overlapping run.
Now go time for the Eagles, but well defended to force a throw. It's Brooke Radcliffe, number 19 for the Pioneers. And again, strong defending will give the ball back to the Pioneers. Balmer boots one forward. Burns already outside the 18 will come up and fire it away. Carson-Newman with the 2 wins in conference against those top 8 in the Southeast region that we talked about earlier, against Queens and against Wingate. A 4-2 win over Queens, a 1-0 win over Wingate, but haven't played or beaten anybody outside of the SAC in that top 8 of the region. Their earlier non-conference games against teams like Ferris State, Georgia College, Lees-McRae, and Clayton State in the non-conference slate for this team. So maybe that potentially weighing in on the minds of the committee as well, as again voted Carson-Newman 3rd in the initial region rankings here in 2017. I'm sorry, the 2nd edition of the rankings. Tusculum trying to manufacture an offensive attack here. And no dice for the Pioneers.
Carson-Newman's attack, certainly the front 3, seems somewhat stagnant right now. Almost, I don't want to say disinterested, because they're definitely not that, but certainly not working as hard as they were maybe those first 20, 25 minutes of the match.
Look at the resume for Tusculum, a team not in those top 8 rankings, 7-3 in conference play, 10-6 overall, with a conference tournament championship. Obviously would move on to the NCAAs, but outside the conference, a win at West Alabama, a win against Tennessee Wesleyan, a loss at Alabama Huntsville, a loss at Limestone, and a win against Lees-McRae. And then the final matchup of their out-of-conference slate, a 4-0 defeat at the hands of number 8 at the time, Columbus State, the current number 1 in the region. And a foul called on Zapf will give a free kick for Tusculum. Rajan whips one in. Burns comes up and snares it. "12 shots on the match for Carson-Newman, including 6 on target. 3 shots on the match for Tusculum, with 2 of those coming on net. Carson-Newman probably thinks that more than one of those should have gone in. Mazengo Leaves it in the middle. Hallgrim's daughter rips that one off McDonald, and a handball is the call. And Hallgrim's daughter, the player who took the long shot that hit McMillan in the back of the head, this time hits her replacement in McDonald, but it's in the hand, and that's not going to be a good thing here for the Pioneers. A free kick just outside the box for Lauren Wade and the Eagles. Now right off the knuckles. And usually you're not going to get away with a handball if you pull your hand up and start shaking it.
Yeah, it's best to try to disguise that it hits your arm.
Wade right into the chest of Hannah Graham. And certainly hoping for a better result than she had.
Absolutely, and Hannah Graham is smiling, saying, thank you, I didn't have to do much on that other than catch it.
Graham, an 8-5-1 record on the year, 6 shutouts, and a .781 save percentage. Made 57 saves this season, allowing just 16 goals, good for 1.13 a match. Realista couldn't find a target. It's off the chest of Huffstetler and sent up past Holly Talbot-Smith. Carson-Newman defeating Catawba, Anderson, and Wingate in the SAC tournament a year ago to win their 2nd championship in a row. Tusculum losing in the quarterfinal last year to Anderson in penalty kicks after playing to a 0-0 draw through 110 minutes. Both teams looking to advance to a championship match in semifinal number 1 on the women's side and number 3 of the day. On the men's side, we're set up for a Wingate Queens Conference Championship match, a rematch of the 2015 game that the Bulldogs won. And on the women's side here, we could potentially see part 3 of Wingate versus Carson-Newman if both teams are able to secure victories in the semifinals. But Tusculum right now trying to make sure that the first part of that is unable to make it to the championship round on Sunday.
And as it stands now, this game, I mean, they've got a good opportunity. All it takes is one missed kick, one mishandled ball or something like that in the box, and Tusculum can stick it in the back of the net.
Region into the box, the volley off the hands of Burns. It'll be a corner. It was Sonia Balmer who scored the first goal to take the rip on the volley for Tusculum. And that's one Burns wants to come up with.
Yeah, that might be the first mishandle that I was just mentioning.
Sarah Combs to the corner. Just over the head of a pair of Tusculum players, including Rajan. And Lauren Wade will send it to a one-on-one. It's Talbot-Smith and McDonald. Talbot-Smith settles. Goes back to the outside, tripped up, but keeps her balance. And Talbot-Smith with an uncharacteristic giveaway. Now the counterattack. Tusculum's got some speed. The shot fired. And the shot will roll wide. Jordan Newby trying to cut that one across from just outside the corner of the 18. Newby, the All-SAC honorable mention with 6 goals on the year. Gave it a good try, but unable to put it on target and give Jacqueline Burns any sort of challenge. DeHart flicked forward. Newby leaves it off for Balmert, now to the outside. Edge of the box, and unable to control it is Brooke Radcliffe. Showing her frustration a little bit.
I feel like this is the time of the match where Carson-Newman's more experienced players, obviously the resume of the season, would start to kick in, but it seems that Tusculum's actually picking up the level of play and maybe creating not necessarily chances, but certainly opportunities to get forward to create chances.
McDonald will play it off of the Carson-Newman player leg. Futrell looking into the box. Musengo with time. Here comes a cross, headed away. And the foul called on Carson-Newman on Realista. Hallgrim's daughter looking for the through ball.
Hey, I'm here, that's it. Come on, anticipate. Nothing easy. Nothing easy. Get all you got, Gray!
Tusculum looking to get rid of it to midfield, and Helen Seed whiffs. And she'll have to give it back to the keeper, Burns. Combination play, trying to find some space for Lauren Wade here in the second half, and it's unsuccessful. But a result is a Carson-Newman throw. The SAC player of the year with 13 goals now and 9 assists. The cross comes in. Futrell can't handle it. Just trying to turn that one back towards the net. And caught it off the wrong part, but a deflection on the defender side will give a corner kick to the Eagles. In Tusculum, you saw a little protest there. They didn't think that they made contact with it after Futrell.
I actually wondered the same on that. On this corner, I would imagine Seed is the target. Obviously one of the taller players out there, but also very good in the air.
Punched up in the air. Graham, ball still kept alive. Second bite of the cherry, no good. And a foul ultimately comes down in the box on Carson-Newman. It'll be bombs away. And we'll take another look here. It all started with the corner from Hallgrim's daughter. Futrell. And then Realista just unable to get it through the sea of bodies inside the box. Newby flicked out for Radcliffe. And again, Radcliffe unable to control it.
So small little touches that if Tusculum can clean up these small touches in the attacking third, they're going to get chances. But unfortunately keep wasting a couple just by stepping over the ball or mishandling it out of bounds.
Ellenberg for Balmert. Trying to get it past Hallgrim's daughter, can't. Now Newby turns the corner. Helen Seed, a takedown and a foul. And Seed will be booked with a yellow.
I think there's necessarily too much debate on this. Seed knows she's gotten beat by the touch. Sticks out the other leg, extends her body a little bit, and clips the legs. One of the easier calls of the night, I believe.
Huge free kick upcoming here for Tusculum. As you said earlier, one of the best teams on set pieces in this league. The cross comes in. Ellenberg couldn't get the head on it. Popped back up, and on top of the net it goes. A foul called in the box on the Pioneers, but again, setting up that great look for Ellenberg.
Almost an empty net. I'm not completely sure it was empty, but as the goalkeeper comes out to try to do something with the ball, Ellenberg's got a great look at it. And actually Seed and goalkeeper collide. If I'm Tusculum here, now I start stepping the game up a little bit. Start to pressure Carson-Newman. They're maybe a little worried, concerned right now because they're not getting the goals that they had expected.
Musengo gets the touch in the midfield. It's poked away by Balmer. And now Seed looks up for Hallgrim's daughter. And Carson-Newman has gotten a little sloppy here in the second half. Newby couldn't get ahead on it, and Burns will have it. Again, these two teams played to even through 77 minutes. The first time they met in the regular season before Lauren Wade scored a hat trick in 3 minutes and 30 seconds worth of time.
Got a really, really late offside call, just whistled right then.
Right now, both these teams playing to a deadlock at 1-1 with 19:30 remaining. Rajan will put the foot to it. And Hickman will turn it upfield looking for Futrell. Balmer. And now Thornburg finds Newby offside.
Good recognition there by Seed to recognize she was truly the last defender back. Simply step up, take a step towards the midfield, causing the Tusculum player to easily be called offside.
Carson-Newman still with a huge shot advantage, 16-5 and 7-3 in shots on goal, but Tusculum continuing to battle, not allowing anything to come easy for the Eagles, and here trying to take a lead here. Newby plays it in, wanted to Hart. Now that one from distance, just over the crossbar. What a strike it would have been. A rocket from distance, just skidding over the crossbar.
Yeah, no, I was about to say, unfortunately, just not able to stay over top of the ball, but that causes the ball to rise a little. But as you say, just over the crossbar, good effort.
Musengo again able to turn her body to the inside. Faced up with the net, looking up. Futrell onside. Futrell takes the shot. It's saved by Graham. Second chance. Diving save by Graham. Hannah Graham with two fantastic plays in net there, stopping Emily Futrell from putting Carson-Newman back in the lead.
Yeah, two very good saves. This one being very, very, very solid. Just makes herself big and gets the trailing legs behind it. I think the Carson-Newman defender there would have had that covered as well. Or sorry, Tusculum defender would have had that covered.
The corner, far post. Ball still ping-ponging around in the box, still at the feet and deflected away near the near post. Hickman goes back to get it for Carson-Newman, and it's last touch by Tusculum, a Carson-Newman throw-in, as they'll try to keep the pressure on here. Nearly finding a couple of goals here in the last few moments. But Tusculum's keeper, Hannah Graham, in the defense, standing tall here for the Pioneers. And a handball on Sonia Balmer.
Plays like that in the back from goalkeepers or defenders, just the scrambly stuff, it gives your team energy and life. Even though you're about to give up a goal, it still gives a little bit of energy, belief, and you can draw from that as you start to move forward up the field.
Masengo trying to run on to the end of that free kick. Tusculum able to clear again. Second ball sent in and right to Graham.
Which of those multiple shots that you mentioned, a lot of them have been like that. They really haven't been all that challenging, although Graham has made a couple very good saves and team defense saves as well, blocking shots.
A quick reset with 15.5 to play. Lauren Wade for Carson-Newman started the scoring way back in the 12th minute off the feed from Maria Lista, her 13th of the season. And Tusculum was able to answer in the 16th minute as Newby at the corner of the box trying to get it past Helen Seed. We'll get another crack at it, leaving it off. Feint back to the inside, and Helen Seed with the strong defensive play. But Tusculum was able to get that response goal in minute 16 from Sonia Balmer off the free kick from Yvette Rajan. And no goals since, as both teams have battled and have made some great plays on both ends, just none of them resulting in the ball finding the net.
Here's where Tusculum's dangerous. We've been saying it all game. Decent ball put in.
Burns able to grab it on the second try. Quick push out to Masengo. She wants to find her space and let her go. Zap for Avery Williams, now looking for the long ball up to Futrell. And to throw in the result. And a sub will come on.
So I was just looking across the field. I know Seed is injured, but she certainly seems to be laboring a little bit with her breathing. Obviously, if you're injured, you're working a little bit harder. You're just looking at kind of the defenders' faces, the attackers' faces. You know, if this game goes deeper than regulation, some of those tired legs could play a factor.
Carly Mill, the sub for Tusculum. She comes on to replace Jordan Newby. Holgrim's daughter looks up for Talbot Smith. And Talbot Smith, now Realista wins it back. Looking up for Masengo. Settles, Masengo looking to turn. Too strong of a touch, gives it away. And Wade will have a go with it. Burns boots it away. Sent back in, and nobody there for the Pioneers that allow Burns to come out. And a little bit of a nervous moment for Burns there, but she's able to find a teammate. Talbot Smith looking up. Lauren Wade past one defender. The conference player of the year, Lauren Wade, saved by Graham.
Wade a little frustrated with herself after that play, kind of over by the fence, slapping it a little bit, head hanging down, thinking she should have done better with that ball across.
And another cheap giveaway in the midfield by Carson-Newman. Huffstetler. Through ball for Futrell. Can't get it past Sarah Combs. And Seed will send it long. Kate Guildford will track back. It'll go across the goal line. And Lauren Wade again after sending this one in. She thought she should have done better.
And a dejected look right there, thinking, man, if I could have pulled that back 2 or 3 more yards, we have a chance.
Flicked on. And a throw in for the Pioneers. It'll be Hofstetler to throw in. Carson-Newman 15-0-1 on the year. Tusculum 10-6-1. Both teams looking for the right to advance to the conference tournament championship on Sunday. Holgrim's daughter leading the attack here for Carson-Newman. Out to Talbot Smith. Back inside. Talbot Smith. The combination play, and Talbot Smith's shot deflected by McDonald.
McDonald do a very nice job of reading that play, stepping up into what is the next obvious pass to block the shot.
Seed sends it forward, but it's back to Tusculum. Futrell sends it forward. Wade, top of the box. Past one defender, can't get past the second. Mazengo, though, comes up to take it back for the Eagles, but not for long. Brandon gets it back. Now it's Seed. Off the chest of Futrell. Shielding. And up to Talbot Smith. Back to Futrell. Mazengo. And the Carson-Newman attack just not on the same page here.
Go ahead.
Seed comes up to get it.
I used the word before, but just stagnant. You know, midfielders are having the ball looking, and unfortunately the 3 front runners for Carson-Newman are generally just hanging out in the same 2 or 3 yards of space for 10, 15 seconds, which isn't good enough. There needs to be interchange, especially against a team that's man marking you. You can drag players out of position.
Carson-Newman's only played 1 overtime game this season, that tie with Lenore Ryan back on September 20th. Balmert in the midfield for the Pioneers. And a handball. Tusculum's played in overtime twice this season, a 2-1 win at Catawba on October 21st. And then the 1-1 tie in the quarterfinal that led to penalty kicks, in which they were able to defeat Lenore Rhine. 7:25 remaining here to stop it from going into overtime if one of these teams can find the game winner. Wade and Talbot Smith both tied for 4th in Carson-Newman history with 9 game-winning goals apiece. Will it be one of them, or will the Pioneers find a goal here to upset the Eagles? 7 to play, looking to the outside, and that ball's not going to get it done. And Mazengo has it taken off her feet by Guildford. Now Talbot Smith out to the wing. Quick ball to Brandon, gets it right back. Edge of the box for the senior. And Talbot Smith will softly send it in, and Graham will retrieve it. Throw in for the Pioneers.
Avery Williams and Helen Seed do a very good job of reading off of one another. If one player steps, the other one drops deeply in behind to cover. They just have a nice rapport. And one large reason why they're undefeated on the year, I would imagine.
Brooke Radcliffe back into the game for the Pioneers. Katja Anderson comes on as well. And Jaden Zapp comes back on for the Eagles. With 5:35 remaining, tie ball game. Through ball, looking for Lauren Wade. Wade trying to find a way around the defender of Carly Thornburg. But it will, at the very least, get Carson-Newman a throw-in in the attacking third. And it'll be Alex Brandon, the second team All-SAC selection, to come up and throw it in. It's to Mazengo. And a giveaway by Magda Mazengo. Mazengo able to stop the clearance, but again, the pass is just not there for the Eagles. Now some open field for DeHart. Looks up to Radcliffe. Radcliffe trying to switch the field. Mishit it. And players just reluctant to run to the ball, it seems, on both sides. Fatigue may be setting in here in the late minutes.
Fatigue and maybe a little bit of fear of not wanting to make the mistake that cost the team the game. And unfortunately, you can't play that way. You've got to play very aggressive and know that you're not going to make the mistake. Trust yourself. You've done it all season. Just continue to trust you and your teammates.
Four minutes to play. Brandon runs onto the ball. Trying to create some offense for a team that hasn't scored since the 11th minute. Off the knees, now back to Mazengo. Mazengo forward, Lauren Wade, and what a play by Hannah Graham to dive through and make that save.
Very nice save, very confidently taken shot, but also a very confident save.
3:30 remaining. Wade gets another look, but she has been unable to find one since starting off the scoring early on. Now 6 shots, 5 of them on target. Seed up for Futrell. And a throw in for Carson-Newman.
It's a good look at Lauren Wade breaking in on that left side, or preferred side, and Hannah Smith doing a really good job. No, sorry, Hannah Graham doing a really good job making that save.
Long throw, the edge of the box. Looking for a clearance on the Pioneers. Seed wins the header. It'll be another CN throw. Headed by Realista. 2:30 to play. Zapf. Chasing with Cheyenne Upton. And Upton able to win it back for the Pioneers. And a big collision in the midfield and a foul on Carson-Newman. It's called on Avery Williams.
Take a look at Newby trying to play the ball wide and just gets run through a little bit by Avery Williams. I fully agree with the call. A lot of body.
Under 2 to play. Free kick for Tusculum. Booted in. Center of the box. Header won by Seed. Tusculum trying to keep it alive, unable to. Now a counterattack being set up. Just one defender there for Tusculum, but she's able to win to the ball first. Turning upfield and booted deep, and a foul called on Carson-Newman.
If Tusculum's going to play a deep ball into the box again, I would definitely put a body on Seed. Make sure she can't get to the ball, and then other players need to attack.
1 minute remaining in regulation of a tie game. The big boot looking for Thurnberg. Headed away. Now Wade flicks it forward. Will either team have a final chance here in the final minute? Carson-Newman looking to go quickly. And another Eagles throw in, 30 seconds remaining. Sent long. Headed by the Pioneers. Still fighting for it, Futrell. And last touched by Carson-Newman. And a throw in for the Pioneers with 10 seconds remaining. And it looks like overtime here in Manchester Meadows. 2 goals in the first 16 minutes of this match. 0 goals since. 1-1. Your score through regulation between Carson-Newman and Tusculum. A good battle in the midfield there in the second half, and we'll see what the overtime period holds. We'll step away here on the SAC Digital Network for just a moment. We'll return with overtime action here in Rock Hill. Jeff Jazeski, Craig Turnbull back here on the SAC Digital Network. Craig, 90 minutes wasn't enough to decide a winner here between Carson-Newman and Tusculum. Both teams getting fired up, ready for this first overtime. You see a little more life out of the Tusculum side. We'll see if that translates into the play here in overtime number 1.
You know, that's almost something that the second half needed, was just that little bit of extra energy, a player to take a chance, take a risk, and break in behind. I think Carson-Newman's quality might show itself more, but they've got to lift the level for that to happen. You know, you're a good team. You've got a lot of good players. You can't just walk on the field and expect that you'll get goals. They've got to lift their level. Tusculum's energy, their excitement, their ability to hang around long enough to put themselves in this position, you know, is a benefit to them. Now, do they have enough firepower to hold off what Carson-Newman theoretically should be bringing this overtime period?
To recap, Lauren Wade started the scoring for Carson-Newman off an assist from Realista in the 11th minute. Tusculum responded with Sonia Ballmert's goal off a Yvette Rajan free kick. And this game will send a winner to the championship match against the winner of Wingate versus Anderson. That game coming up next following the conclusion of the Eagles and the Pioneers. This the 1-4 matchup, Wingate-Anderson, the 2-6. A potential rematch for a third straight year in the championship game between the Eagles and the Bulldogs. But first, we have to see which team will come out of this matchup here in overtime number 1. Headed forward, Mazengo nearly ran onto that one and could have been a potentially dangerous moment for the Tusculum defense. We'll see if this will bring some life back to Carson-Newman's offensive attack. Looking outside for Alex Brandon. Good cut inside. Brandon misfires.
I like what Brandon was trying to do there. I feel like she was trying to bend it into that far post. She might have been looking for the run on the far post, but I do believe she was actually shooting that. Just didn't quite hit it the way she wanted to.
Goal kick will be taken back by Rajan. As Tusculum will look to get the offensive attack set up here against the Eagles in this overtime period. Again, overtime golden goal rules. You score, you win. If neither team scores in the 2 overtime periods, we go to a shootout. Brandon with the header. Back and forth off the heads of a couple different players. And a good step over to create some space for Avery Williams. She'll look in for Mazengo. Mazengo gets it right back. Magda Mazengo turning back towards the middle, bending it in, and Mazengo wins it for the Eagles. Ninth goal of the season for number 9, her 5th game winner. And beautifully done to send Carson-Newman back to the championship match on Sunday afternoon.
Fabulous build-up, actually. Very patient build-up and a shorter, closer into the goal version of the shot I was just speaking about. Just a nice little bender to the far post. Hit it very well, though, with good power.
The junior's gotten free all match long, was waiting for that moment to take that shot and shoot it. And she did, to give Carson-Newman a victory here in overtime. It didn't take long, just over 2 minutes in. And you said it, will this Carson-Newman firepower show its head? It did here in the first overtime. Magda Mazengo wins it for the Eagles. Lauren Wade gets the assist. And let's take another look.
Here's a great look. Just opens her hips, bends the ball just outside the defenders, and obviously just inside the far post. Beautiful. Well done.
And nothing Hannah Graham, who was so outstanding tonight, could do but watch as Masengo sends the Eagles on to another tournament championship match, keeps the undefeated season alive. 16 wins now for Carson-Newman. Tusculum's season will come to an end at 10-7-1 overall. That'll do it for semifinal number 1 here on the women's side. The top seed, Carson-Newman Eagles, take down Tusculum 2-1 in overtime.